Hello everyone, and welcome to the end of February and the beginning of March. Wow. 2 months down, already going into the third month. And February was a short month. So, February's version of the Dunn Talks, and I'm calling it Dunn Talks by the Numbers. Get out your pen and paper. I'm going to be throwing out a lot of numbers at you, but not to worry. It's no big deal. But the past 2 months, January and February, I want to give you a perspective of what can be done in a 2-month period, what I've done in a 2-month period, and how numbers never lie. And I like that title, Numbers Never Lie, because I worked on a show at ESPN back in, back in 2017, 2018, I believe, with Jamel Hill. And if you know who she is, black female, she's now an independent journalist. But the program dealt with sports facts about different sporting events, numbers, and statistics. But it was all done through numbers, statistics, and illustrations. If you've never seen the show, Google it, go look back. It's called ESPN Numbers Never Lie. Always loved that show. What I want to talk about with the Dunn Talks for the month of February is the combination of January and February. What I've done, what I've accomplished, and some things that I'm still hoping to get done as each month continues this year. My January travels, as you recall, if you looked at the video for January, 3 times to Arlington, Texas, at least 3 scheduled times, but only 2 actually happened because of the big winter storm. 1 got canceled. But then also, I spent a lot of time in Jacksonville at the Mayo Clinic with my wife due to health reasons. So as we talk about numbers, here are some numbers that I want you to understand. Between January and February, it was 59 days over 2 months. Remember, February is a short month of only 28 days, and January had 31 days. So 59 days over 2 months, 25 days I spent of my time either in a doctor's office, hospital, surgery with my wife, or in dialysis treatment. 25 days out of 59. That represents 42% of my time. And out of those 2 months, my travel days were 10, which equals 17%. And that includes AEW travel, Arlington, Texas, and to San Jose, California, or Oceanside, California, basically a suburb of San Diego. So 59 days was work and health related issues. 41% of my time, available time over 59 days, was spent doing everything else. So when you think about it, 59 days and you sleep 6 hours on average. That's me anyway. Some of you might sleep more, and it's good to sleep more. I had 354 hours of sleep. 54 hours of sleep divided by 59 days. So now, when you think about all of that time, here are where the numbers get a little crazy for you. 59 days times 24 hours equals 1,416 hours. That's the time that we all have over 2 months. We all had January and February. 1,416 hours. I slept 354 hours of those 1,416 hours, which means I had 1,062 hours to live, to do things, to do other things. Wow, that's pretty heavy when you think about the numbers. Now, here's a set of numbers that you should all know. And if you don't know it, you need to write this down. Because if you work in a traditional job, then you work 40 hours per week, 12 months a year. If you're in a basic job, 40 hours a week, 12 months a year, 52 weeks a year, according to the government, you have worked, and your tax returns, you've worked 2,080 hours per year. You can't change that. I'm not talking overtime and I'm not talking extra time. 2,080 hours. That's how many hours the average person works that works in a traditional job, working for someone. Collecting a paycheck means you filled out a W-2 and you do a W-4, and at the end of your tax year, you get your tax return. 2,080 hours. Please remember that number, because that number divided by other numbers will give you your hourly rate. You can always figure out what your hourly rate is by the overall number of hours you worked. 2,080. Remember that number. So for me, the month of February, the majority of my time in the month of February was spent at the Daytona International Speedway doing radio pit reporting for NASCAR. Now, I created my own little niche market with NASCAR. I started doing that back in, 2022. No. 2022, not 2002, but 2022. The same year I did the inaugural production for HBCU Go TV with Byron Allen. And I did that with a specialty in mind. And I did it in the month of February when it actually started. And what I wanted to do was cover female drivers, cover minority drivers, minority owners, female pit crews, black pit crews, and Brianna Daniels is a name that you should know by now in the world of NASCAR. She's a tire changer, black female who graduated Norfolk State, and she played basketball there, but she is now on the NASCAR circuit as a tire changer for various teams. And then there are pit crew teams that are all black and all female. And it's not just for the Daytona 500, it's for the Rolex 24. So all of these events are right here in Daytona Beach, and I work them as a pit reporter. So that's my niche, that's my specialty. And I created that in the month of February back in 2022 for Black History Month. That's what gave me relevance, I should say. And that's how I stayed relevant. HBCU Go Sports liked it, but really didn't have a platform for it and didn't know what to do with it. But through my contacts here in Daytona Beach, WNDB Radio, conservative talk radio, and the people that I've known through the years working at the television station gave me a shot, because MRN, Motor Racing Network, they don't cover female drivers. They don't cover minority owners. They mention them, but they don't cover them. See, I did full-blown coverage and posted it. If you follow me on Facebook, then you've seen it. If you don't, follow me on Facebook and go back and look at all of the 4 major posts that I did in the month of February that were tied to Speed Week, the Daytona 500, and all of racing. Also, if you go to the YouTube page, you'll also notice that I did a special feature on a female driver, former female driver who works for NASCAR now, Jacqueline Drake. And I did a little mini 5-minute interview with her. That's on the YouTube page as well. So where you're watching this, you'll see that. You can't miss it. It has the big Daytona 500 logo in front. So that was my month of February. A lot of it was covering NASCAR. The portion of that coverage was 41% of my time. It was 4 hours per day when I wasn't sleeping. That's a lot of time. Now, here's something that's going to blow a lot of you away, and you might have a hard time dealing with it, accepting it, or understanding it, but I'm going to say it and highly encourage it. I didn't get to where I am in my career by always cutting deals for pay. I volunteered a lot of my time. I created opportunities where I had access. And I think I talked about this in January, but if I didn't, I'm saying it again in February. Access sometimes is more important than the money. Here's the reason why I say that. If you have access, then you're going to have opportunity to have influence. And the book that I'm writing, one of the things that I use in the book is a seat at the table. A seat at the table where the decisions are being made. My mother told me that years ago, and I didn't understand that. She said education was so important because you need to be at the table where the decisions are being made. It doesn't matter what your title is. It doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. You need to be at the seat where the decisions are being made, because if you're at the seat, if you're at the table, you're influencing and you're involved in the decision making and you're influencing lives. Now, some people, like to say, well, what's your title? What are you doing? Doesn't matter. You're at the table. If you're the head janitor and you're at the table where the decisions are being made for a company, for a corporation or a company, what are you doing? You're making the decisions for that company, for all the janitorial products and services that are being provided for that organization, be it a small organization or a gargantuous organization around the country. You're at the table where the decisions are being made. That is worth more, because its influence is worth more than sometimes the money. So I volunteer a lot of my time with WNDB Radio, not necessarily for pay, small stipends, free food, access, merch. Folks, you just don't know how important that stuff is. I'm not even going to go through the list of how many events I've attended, didn't get paid, but had access. Golf, racing, Super Bowls, NBA championships, all-star games, and the list goes on and on and on. Events that I worked, and I collect all my press passes, so I have press passes and press credentials from all of those events. Think about it. If you were given an opportunity to attend a Super Bowl and you had 100% reign to go wherever you wanted, on the field, in the locker room, press rooms, to see the players, go and be around the interviews down on the field, and you didn't get paid, would you say no to go into the Super Bowl? Nah, you make that decision. But for me, no, I wouldn't say no. And I never have said no. So when I don't have a whole lot to do sometimes, I just researching what's going on in my area, and I show up. And I go early enough so that I can meet the people, because I'm in the broadcast TV. I find out if there's going to be television coverage or broadcast coverage or media coverage, and I go early 2 days before sometimes, and meet the people to get access. Folks, I can't tell you how important that is in your careers. Go for the access first, not always the pay. Get that seat at the table. Be around the people that are making the decisions. You're going to learn a lot from just listening. You got to learn how to listen and not react and not respond. Be that fly on the wall and be in a situation when they finally realize you're in the room, because 9 times out of 10, because of this, you'll be invisible. Or people will be uncomfortable with your presence. Now, I usually can sense that, especially when I was in the management positions and I was the only black person in the room at the table. So what did I do? I stayed quiet. I assessed the room to see levels of comfort. Now, some of you will say, it's not my job to make other people comfortable. No, it's not. But if you want to have influence, then you have to understand the vibe. You have to understand what's going on in that space that you're in. And if you understand the emotions, the raw feelings, the looks, the lack of eye contact that people are not making with you, then that's how you are assessing the room and making judgment decisions of what to say, how to say it, how to make light of something, whether it's appropriate to be humorous or whether you just stay on the serious side. Unfortunately, there is no magic trick. You really can't teach that. I can talk about it and I can tell you, but it's difficult to teach. So, we're in March, coming up for March. Now, here are some numbers just for the month of March that you should be aware of. March. You have 31 days in the month of March, and you have 24 hours a day. You have 744 hours in 1 month to live your life. Okay? Let me say that again. 31 days, 24 hours a day, 744 hours during the month of March. You have 6 to 8 hours a day of sleep. I do it 6. Some of you might do 8. But still, for me, that's 56 hours per month to sleep. Now, here's something that you've got to look at. Now, remember, 744 hours in the month of March, 56 hours of sleep, leaves me with 688 hours to get things done while I'm awake. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Now, what if you work in that regular, traditional job that I spoke about earlier? 40 hours, 4 weeks, 160 hours. That's 528 hours remaining for you to do something. Yeah, 528 hours. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Saturday and Sunday. The system was designed for you not to do anything on those 2 days off. You're supposed to be so exhausted from working 40 hours a week, potentially overtime, that you do nothing but veg out on a Saturday and a Sunday. No. See, Saturday and Sunday, in the month of March, that's 10 days. A Saturday and a Sunday in the month of March, that's 10 days in March. And those 10 days in March, at 24 hours of 10 days, is 240 hours. Less 60 hours of sleep. So what do you have? You have 180 hours. That's yours. 18 hours per month over 10 days. Folks, did you hear what I just said? 180 hours is yours. And that's because of the Saturdays and Sundays over 10 days during the month of March. Do something with that time. Most of you will take trips, recreation, play, mini vacations, volunteer, learn, research, do something. If all you do is sit and veg out in front of a TV, you're wasting time. Our days are numbered, folks. You're not promised tomorrow. And I know we all know that. But some of you are in your 20s. Many of you are 30s and 40s. Some of you might be in your 50s. There's another video here on YouTube that you need to check out, and it's called The 4 Quarters of Life. You need to look at that video, The 4 Quarters of Life, because when you look at that particular video, you'll see where you are in life and what you should have accomplished by the time you reach my age. And what's my age again? 20, 26, 6, 7. Yes, in July, I turned 67. So I'm in the 4th quarter of life. And quite frankly, I'm playing the game of overtime because I'm still active. But I'm playing overtime at my peak. I figure I will go another 2 years maybe and stop at 70. But here's something that I am not doing and something I did not do. I didn't defer fun until I retired. I didn't defer travel until I retired. No, I did it all along the way. Now, granted, because of the business that I was in and that I am in, I've been blessed enough to have a lot of my, what I call, mini vacations paid for by the companies that I work for. Airfare, hotels, meals, per diem, all of that, 90% of it covered, which allowed me to play. Go to San Diego. I'm only supposed to be there for 3 days, so you extend an additional 2. You make it a 5-day trip. You do something extra. You find the favorite city that you're assigned to work in. You go and you stay extra. That's how I've used my extra time in life. I extended my work and turned it into playtime. You need to do the same thing. And again, March. How many hours are in the month of March again? 744 hours for you to live. If you sleep 56 hours, which is anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a day, me 6, then you have 688 hours to do something while you're awake. If you work a traditional job, 40 hours times 4 weeks, that's 160 hours. That still gives you 528 hours to do something. And then that most important number, Saturdays and Sundays. In the month of March, that's 10 days. 24 hours, 10 days, 240 hours. If you sleep 60 hours over 2 days, well, not over 2 days, but over the 10 days, then you have 180 hours. 18 hours per month, 10 days to do something. You have a hobby? Turn that hobby into a business. Create an LLC, limited liability corporation. Make your life a business so that everything you do is a write-off. Everything. It's not that difficult to do. You can start a business in name only for $150 to $500. Please don't sit there and go, wow, $500. We all blow money every month doing things that we want to do. Food, clothing, travel, whatever. Take care of you. Build a business. You don't have to go crazy with a business plan and all that stuff. Just do something. Take your hobby and make it a business. Create a name. Register it in the state that you live in. That's your business. That means whatever you do outside the job that you're paid full-time, working 40 hours for someone else, every travel, purchase, expense, food, all's a tax write-off. Get you an accountant. Do the long form. That easy form, if you're making at least $40,000 a year, and I'm hoping that most of you are, even the young people, you're getting close. You should have your own business. And if you're not, then you have even more of a reason to start your own business. So remember those numbers earlier. 2,080 hours. If you spend your entire life, well, let me put it this way. I'm of that generation where I was told that was the way you would get ahead in our country. I hate to say it was a lie, but it wasn't quite the truth as we evolved. For my generation, baby boomers, I was born 1959. It worked up into the 80s and a little bit into the 90s. But when the new millennium hit in 2000, everything changed. See, companies won't keep you for 20, 30, 40 years. My parents were able to do that. Many of your parents can't work in one business for 20, 30 years. You just can't do it. The longest I've ever been at any one company or any one organization, and I've always been in the broadcast media, was 15 years. 15 years at the public television station here in Daytona Beach, because I came down here in 1996. 15 years is the longest I've ever been. Everywhere else, 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. That's why I created my own business in 2002, new millennium. Why? Because the more money you make, the more Uncle Sam takes away from you. I'll never forget my son said, "Who's Uncle Sam?" That's the government. He says, "Well, I don't know that uncle." I said, "Yeah, but that uncle knows you. And he will keep taking from you. The more you make, the higher the tax bracket, the less deductions you have. You'll find yourself in, you want to make 6 figures? Great. Be prepared to pay 40% of your 6 figures in taxes. Why do you think the rich and the wealthy find ways to hide their money? It's not illegal. Morally, it's not necessarily right. Pay your fair share of taxes. But no one should be paying 40% of their earnings to the government tax-free, interest-free. Remember, that money that they take out of your paycheck is not interest earning. So when you're happy at the end of a year and you go, wow, I got a nice tax return of $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Imagine what you could have done if you had that same $2,000 in an account earning interest. Now, I'll be honest. All of these things I'm telling you, I wasn't very good at doing. Want to know why? Because I didn't know. Nobody told me the things I'm telling you. I made a lot of money in the 80s, but I also blew a lot of money. I didn't put it in investments. When I played around in the stock market one time and damn near lost almost $100,000 that I didn't have, I went away from the stock market and I never went back. To this day, I'm not in the stock market. I'm not proud of that. But you know why? Lack of knowledge. I'm fearful of what happened the first time I tried it, and because I don't have what I feel enough money to get back into the market, the economy doesn't affect me as it relates to the stock market. Why do you think our country is the way it is right now? Why do you think the wealthy think everything is okay and they're not looking at the average person? Why? Because the market is up. The market is doing well. And everything is measured through the stock market, even though you and I probably are not involved in it. But guess what? We are involved in it in some way, shape, or form. I still have investment accounts that are earning some nice money, but nothing at the level of what these millionaires and billionaires are earning. And I can't say because of the earnings of my 401k, that's a joke, because it's not hundreds of thousands. It's not millions. It's a couple of $1,000. And a couple of $1,000 is not going to sustain you for the rest of your life. How long do you want to live? Quite frankly, I tell people this and they say, you're nuts. But I want to be around to 100. I'd like to make 100. See, the promise is 120 years. That's God's promise to this vessel, this body that was created. 120 years, that's the promise. But do you know how you get to 120 years? You have to take care of this. You have to take care of this. I want to be able to still move around and be independent, thinking clearly at 100. Now, the one thing I probably won't be doing is driving. And quite frankly, none of you will want me on the road at 100. So that's February and March, or February and January by the numbers. And I gave you those numbers for the month of March. And I'll run through them one more time, so write them down. The one thing that you should know by heart all the time, if someone asks you, you work a 40-hour work week, you work a regular job, how many hours do you work in a year? 2,080. You divide 2,080 by 40, that's 52 weeks. And you can break that down to see what your hourly earning is as well. You know what you should be making. So that's how you figure it out. That's the biggest number, 2,080, 40 hours, 52 weeks. You can do all your calculations just from those numbers alone. That's how the IRS sees you. Now, for the month of March, 31 days, 24 hours a day, you have 744 hours in 1 month to live your life. Start breaking it down. 6 hours to 8 hours of sleep, that's 56 hours a month of sleeping. 744 hours, subtract from 56, that's 688 hours. 688 hours for you to do whatever you want. See, folks, you don't have to be a mathematician. See, this is why education is important. You only need to know how to add, subtract, divide, and multiply. And because we have these wonderful things called calculators, and it's on our phones, there is no excuse. You have to do things different than my generation. Because we were sold a lie. Again, it wasn't a lie. It worked for a while. It worked up until 2000. It worked until the internet came into existence. Because my son and daughter, they don't work for anybody. They don't have that full-time job working 40 hours, 40 years, 52 weeks out of the year, paying into the Social Security so that when they retire, you only receive your best year, 40% of your best year. What does that mean? That means if you didn't earn 6 figures over a 10-year period in that full-time job, your Social Security check per month will be less than $3,000. Can you live off just $3,000 a month? Well, many of us, many Americans, many senior citizens are doing just that. So any fluctuation in their savings, any fluctuation in the market for those that do have a little bit of their investments will affect how they live. So again, guys, that's February's Dunn Talks. By the numbers. Understand those numbers. And remember, like I said, in the comments, ask me questions. I will respond because I check my social media every day and I'm online every single day. Ask me a question, I'll give you the answer. I'll tell you. Because all of this that I'm sharing with you are from experiences, from things that I've learned. Making mistakes, learning from people, watching people, and of course, experimenting and doing things, getting it wrong, and then making sure that I didn't do it again. The biggest takeaway from all of this is take care of you. Start a business. In name, if that's all it is, start a business. You must take care of you. Government's not going to take care of you. Corporate America is not going to take care of you. Only you can take care of you. Keep your expenses level. Live. You want a big house? Great, get a big house. I'm not into big houses because you know why? I like to travel. I want to spend my money traveling, eating out, enjoying time with friends, going and flying to a different city just to hang out with a friend. That's my fun. You can all do the exact same thing. You don't have to wait until you retire. You can do that once a month. You can pick a city once a month, fly to it, and just hang out with a friend, with a colleague, with a buddy, with a family member. I'm planning a golf trip in the month of April to Nashville to go play golf with a former student of mine at a golf country club that I've never played, that I don't even have access to. That person does. You see what I'm talking about? The ticket that I will use is a free ticket. Why? Because of all the flying and the traveling that I've done. So I've got a free ticket to go to Nashville, to stay with a friend, and to play golf. Folks, that's how you live your life. You build these relationships for many of you right now. Your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, so that you can play the way you want to in your 60s. Or you can play in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s if you're blessed enough to have the revenue, the income, all of that coming in. If you start your business, you'll have the money to do those things. Because here's the key thing, and I'm going to wrap it up on this note. What did I say earlier? How did I spend 2 months, 59 days over 2 months? 25 days, 42% of my time, January and February, was spent dealing with health issues. 42%, folks. Not mine. My partner. My wife. Doctor office visits. Hospital stays, surgeries, dialysis and treatments in the home, cost of supplies. The monthly expenses when it comes to medical is astronomical if you don't have insurance. You have to have insurance, and you don't need to work for somebody to have insurance. It's great if you can get it that way, but a lot of companies do not offer insurance anymore, even as a full-time worker, depending on the number of employees. So you want to use your time wisely. Because again, I will say it, and I want you to understand this. Our days are numbered. And it may not be your time, but since I fly a lot and I travel a lot, it may be somebody else's time and I got caught up in it. So live your life, but plan it out. Day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. Yeah, you can put a plan together for 2 to 5 years. But don't stop living waiting for 5 years to come. Do it as you go. Okay? Dunn Talks for the month of February. See you at the end of March.